Tonight, learn why an NCAA scandal means more snacks for Yale's athletes.
Plus, we sat down with the new Yale College Dean, Jonathan Holloway. He weighs in on Yale's academic lives and also hints there could be a Stanford conspiracy to take over Yale.
Stay tuned for these stories and more. It's your Yale, your week, and your news.
Hello and welcome to YTV. I'm Raleigh, Cavero. To start, we go to Madison, Alworth in the newsroom for this week's headlines.
Thanks, Raleigh. On Monday, students filled the SSS auditorium to hear the highly anticipated speaker, Ayaan Hirsi Ali. In her talk, she countered criticism she received from the Muslim Students Association. Last week, they wrote a letter of protest about her invitation to campus that was signed by many other campus groups. She affirmed her belief that Islam is a violent and intolerant religion at its heart. She also questioned why the Muslim students respond more strongly to criticism of the religion than to the atrocities committed in the name of Islam. The Muslim Students Association did not formally protest, but instead stood outside with pamphlets about Islam. On Wednesday, Yale Labor Union Local 35 filed a complaint with the National Labor Relations Board. The source of the conflict? Yale's new Culinary Support Center. The issue stems from the university's relocation of a number of workers to the CSC without first consulting the union. This move changed the terms and conditions of their employment, which the union says violated its existing contract with Yale. That contract requires the university to negotiate in good faith with the union before making any changes affecting its members. In an email to Morse students on Wednesday, Morse College Master Amy Hungerford announced that she is stepping down from her post at the end of the year. The decision follows her appointment as Divisional Director for the Humanities. In the newly created position, announced by Faculty Dean Tamar Gendler, Hungerford will help align administrative decisions with departmental priorities in the humanities. Along with Hungerford's new position, Gendler also announced similar posts for the sciences and the social sciences. 1 week ago, the Media Development Authority of Singapore banned the film To Singapore with Love. Now, Yale NUS is moving ahead with plans to include it in a class on documentary film anyway. To Singapore with Love depicts the lives of Singaporean exile, but the government claims that it inaccurately suggests that the film's subjects are being denied the right to return to the country. Yale President Peter Salovey, who is a member of the Yale NUS board, has expressed support for the school's efforts to support free expression by showing the film. The university met its fundraising goal for the new residential colleges in June. Now, it may have a contractor as well. DeMayo Construction appears to have secured the project, although the university has not confirmed the selection. The information comes after Facilities Administrator John Bollier described the likely choice as a regional business with offices in Rhode Island, Boston, and New Haven. The only firm meeting that criteria is DeMayo Construction, which also had a sign up today reading Yale Residential College's headquarters. That's it for this week's headlines. Back to you in the studio.
Thanks, Madison. The average Yale football player towers over the average Yalie. But this week, the team welcomed a member only 3 feet 5 inches tall. Yet, most of the team says that this new player is the one they look up to most of all. Stefina Yuli introduces us.
Last Thursday at 6:30 p.m., Yale's football team added a very special member to their roster, number 39, a 3'5", 6-year-old named Dante Chiappetta.
Yale football selects Dante Chiappetta.
Though he only weighs in at 65 pounds, Yale's youngest new Bulldog is arguably the strongest team member yet. At a young age, Dante was diagnosed with cortical visual impairment, a condition where his brain interprets images differently than his eyes do.
The ophthalmologist told us that he's blind, and if he doesn't see by 1 year old, he'll never see.
The draft day was organized by Team Impact, a Boston-based nonprofit that matches children facing chronic illnesses with local athletic teams. Their aim was to inspire these children through the power of team.
someone like Dante here with us today. He just adds life to the team.
To commemorate the event, the team held an official draft day at the Yale Bowl Kenny Center.
Watching Dante get excited when we tell him we're coming out to the Yale Bowl, or we're coming to see Jackson or some of the other players, he tries to race us down the stairs to get to the car. He wants to be the first one in the car.
Dante was also diagnosed with cerebral palsy, a movement disorder that allows him to walk, but only with the help of braces for support. But this hasn't stopped the young trooper from being very much a part of the team.
And that mentality is whatever you're going through, whatever you're going through your day, that you might feel sorry for yourself, that you look at somebody else and you say, you know what, they're persevering through adversity the way I want to be persevering through adversity.
After Dante officially signed on to the team, the draft day festivities ended in the only way possible: cake.
Team Impact has worked with 501 kids and 251 schools across 36 states.
Athletes need food to play, and that's why the NCAA has policies on how teams provide their athletes with nutrition. Earlier this year, a point guard for UConn's national championship team made headlines when he brought attention to those policies.
That started some big changes that are now affecting Yale athletes. We go to Kate Walker and Dan Chow for more.
Back in April, Napier, a two-time NCAA champion and a recent first-round draft pick, told the press that he goes to bed hungry. In response to his comments and to pressures from coaches and student-athletes alike, the NCAA has instituted a new policy which allows for unlimited snacks and meals for student-athletes. Prior to the new policy, student-athletes were only provided 3 meals a day or a food stipend. The new rule ensures that all Division I athletes, including walk-ons and scholarship players, have access to unlimited snacks and meals. So, what changes has Yale Athletics made to adjust to this new rule? For one, student-athletes are provided with food and drinks in their locker room for access before, during, and after games. Also, meals are provided for student-athletes if practice and game schedules make it impossible for them to reach the dining hall before closing.
During practice, after practice, before practice, we can go to the locker room and we have all like the trail mix, granola bars, and Newtons available to us at all times.
While changes have yet to be made for out-of-season players, Yale coaches, athletes, and administrative officials are teaming up to figure out the best course of action.
We're taking a nutrition and performance-based approach to it, as opposed to some schools are taking a more of a let's just dump on the extra calories approach.
Making sure we get nutritious snacks. We're not eating cheeseburgers, chicken tenders, all kinds of greasy food.
This rule is a small step for the NCAA, which has recently been in the spotlight for its insistence that athletes be treated as amateurs. Some administrators have speculated that this rule is paving the way for possible monetary compensation for student athletes.
You know, there's most likely going to be a proposal in October by the Power 5 conferences, so-called, to allow for students who have full scholarships to also be allowed to get a cash stipend per semester.
The conversation about extending athlete benefits rages on, but for now, Bulldogs will have to be satisfied with extra snacks. For YTV, this has been Kate Walker and Dan Chow.
Hopefully these changes will help the football team win its first game on Saturday at home against Lehigh.
And for the past 2 years, 35 freshmen have been coming to campus a month before Camp Yale even begins.
These students from low-income backgrounds are selected to participate in the Freshman Scholars at Yale program to adjust to college life before the academic year kicks off. Reporters Patrick Sullivan and Harrison Tracy check in on those students and faculty's reflections after 2 years of FSY.
Most Yaleys spend summers in New Haven to take classes, do research, or work in startups. But not these guys.
We had a lot of Nerf wars.
The epic Nerf gun wars.
Massive Nerf gun fights.
For the past 2 summers, Yale has selected roughly 35 students to launch their lives at Yale 5 weeks early. These freshman scholars pack into the rooms here at Ezra Stiles College to begin their transition to campus, both academically and socially, all completely free.
So it's a really important thing to be able to have them figure out, how does this institution work? How do you work in this context? Because they haven't necessarily had that before, and that's part of the transition that we're looking to make better.
While taking a condensed English 114 course, students learned firsthand the academic rigors of a college classroom.
It was one class in 5 weeks, so it was a little intense and a little rigorous, but it was a really great way of seeing what a class at Yale would be like.
FSY is also designed to give us that extra bridge to students who otherwise would probably fall through the cracks.
The FSY program at Yale is unique because it offers students an introduction to essential resources on campus, from librarians to tutors. But the introduction goes far beyond academics. The students also get a much-needed taste of their social lives at Yale.
FSY makes it far easier for these students who come from these backgrounds to adjust in a very familiar setting with people who have been through similar things.
I think if I hadn't been in FSY, I would have been so scared coming here. All the people who've gone to, the top prep schools in the nation, all had all these experiences, and I, coming from public high school in California and foster care.
When I came here on actual move-in day, I had 35 amazing friends right off the bat.
My freshman year and even now into my sophomore year, I'm still great friends with everyone that was from FSY.
Students unanimously said that this program helped to define their time at Yale in a positive way.
It really determined the course of how things went at Yale.
Alumni of the program say that their memories formed during that 5-week period will last them far beyond their move-out date from the walls of Ezra Stiles.
FSY also has a Big Sib, Little Sib program, pairing freshmen with sophomores to continue social support well into the academic year.
And between reading and a meeting, most Yaleys will choose that meeting. This week we sat down in our Everybody Has a Story segment with Dean Holloway. He weighs in on Yaleys' academic lives and also hints that there could be a conspiracy for Stanford to take over Yale. Take a look at these highlights.
Dean Holloway, thanks so much for joining us.
It's my pleasure.
Steven Pinker actually responded to the William Deresiewicz piece by saying that students at these elite universities don't take advantage of the incredible academic resources, that they're more focused on the newspaper or the debate society or whatever it may be. Do you think that's a valid criticism of Yale students?
I'll put it this way, it's a concern I have. I'm not going to say it's a valid criticism because there's incredible things to be gained from all these other extracurriculars. But I've always been concerned. Once I understood the life of a student when I moved into the college, I've been concerned about excess, in the sense that Yale is really good at providing resources to do all these different kinds of activities, from academic to purely social. It's really not good at itself or asking of students to ask the question why. Like, just because we can, does that mean we should?
We always end our interviews with a speed round of quick, fun questions. Have you ever had a Wenzel?
Oh, yes. Oh, yeah. Way too many times, actually. Way too many times because they're incredibly good. Too many times because as you get older, you get this thing called heartburn, unpleasant. And way too many times because the Wenzel's not really a slimming kind of entree.
The Yale Herald, when people were speculating that you would be named dean, the Yale Herald published this blog post about the conspiracy to take over Yale.
It's true.
By Stanford. Yes. You went to Stanford, President Salloway went to Stanford, President Levin went to Stanford. Is there a cardinal conspiracy here?
Oh, well played. Very nice, a cardinal conspiracy. I would have to kill you if I answered the question truthfully, so let's leave it at that.
Well, it's good that we're on the last question then, so I can run out of here. Dean Holloway, thanks so much for joining us.
My pleasure.
Thanks, Cody. To see the full interview, go to the YTV website and check the features page.
That's it for us tonight.
We leave you with a look at this week's literary speed dating event, where Yale undergrads got to cycle around tables for 10-minute slots to talk with their favorite famous writers.
We'll see you Sunday night for the Yale Daily Minute. Thanks for watching. It's your Yale, your week, and your news.
Ladies and gentlemen, let the speed dating begin.
You'll get 10 minutes with a writer and a student moderator to talk to them, listen to them, ask them any kind of questions that you want.
This is just a very kind of student-driven event with a big focus on reaching out to the undergraduate community. I think last year a lot of people didn't really even know this festival was going on.
This event in particular is really important because people get a chance to sit down and ask any question that they want with these very esteemed, incredible artists.
These obviously some of the best writers and playwrights in the world, and as undergrads at a place like this, you can ask for something better when trying to work on your own writing.